Good morning everyone, hope you're doing well. Happy Friday, and I'm quite looking forward to the weekend, I've got to be honest, and things will resume back to normal next week. I'll try and do some more analysis into Discord. I'm quite busy this week, so just so you know is that the herd are now not long, they're actually into positive territory, so they're actually bullish indices on a weekly average, okay? So that's obviously a little bit of an omen. Now what would normally happen since QDB started a few years ago is that we do flip into positive territory, but then we see a massive wobble for a couple of days and it's basically a flush out attempt. So we could potentially see a huge dump and it'll just really to scare these guys out of the equation. They need to be ejected out of the casino. They can't be going long. That's it in a nutshell. Okay, so we're going to see a big wobble today. And it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to necessarily fall on indices, but it's possibly likely because it needs to flush these guys out. Okay, the technical risk calc, well, I froze it at 52 about 5 minutes ago and it's now below 50. So we've got quite a bit of red on our risk calculation now. Okay, so just be careful. Note that what's happening on the daily shifting. They sold Aussie yen, they sold Aussie USD, the long dollar CAD, dollar Swiss. They also sold Kiwi yen as well. Okay, so just be careful today. QDB scores, Aussie CAD, so that could be green, a little bit more green. Aussie Kiwi, that probably should be red there because it's got a poor score. However, it has come off the lows. We had a slight increase in the score change, but we've got a poor score, so we should kind of be negative to be fair. Lots of pound down the bottom, a few US flags there and the Euro flags as well, and be careful of the ones in the middle as well because they can chop around a bit. So I'll show you the indices in gold, and this is S&P. We are sideways, so probably going to have to see a big flush. Okay, so be really careful. We might need to see a 4,200 break and then it will scare them out and then they'll get out hopefully, and hopefully they don't buy the dip, and they've got to be selling. They have to be selling. If they don't, then if they're gonna be buying, it's gonna fall. Like they went really long here, look at the reaction. Okay, so if they go really long again, we have a similar reaction, boom, and we'll break that low. It's just going to be the same on the indices, to be fair. Sideways, possibly going to need to see a dump. Okay, DAX, I guess it'll be a short video today. There's not that much to say. It's just DAX is a lot more erratic, but I would avoid this, just horribly choppy. If they continue to sell, potentially we're going to come up higher. I'm not sure where your stop would be, but we'll look at things properly on Monday. We'll have a clearer idea, and hopefully these US yields are going to come down because they're on a complete tear and it's propelling the dollar higher, and it's been an absolute wrecking ball. So we'll get a better idea after the NFP data with risk, so we can definitely look at some setups on Monday. And because at the moment it's a bit of a gamble, because the yields, you don't really want to be fighting that dollar. We're really strong. See, gold is obviously moving because of the US Treasuries. US Treasury yields just pumping and pumping. This dumped as a result, and of course the herd going long up here was an awesome trade. That was such a good trade if you caught that, but based on the crossover, right? And it just didn't really come back down since till there, and then they went long again. Boom! God, that reaction there. 1879. 1814. Oh god, what a flush out. So whether or not that is going to be enough just to get them out of the casino, we'll have to wait and see. Let's look at the robot, and we're minus £4. Alright, so we're going to be we're going to struggle to overcome our losses that we encountered because of the yen. We had the Aussie yen and we had the Kiwi yen, and that went to our stop loss because of that BOJ preparation for the intervention. So apparently it wasn't an intervention, it was just them preparing the market for what could happen. So we're taking the yen out of the robot now, but we had some yen trades running on the robot, and as a result we had a fairly sizable loss. We had a £35 loss this week. So I'd be very surprised if we get above £35, but you know what NFP's like, we'll have to wait and see. We've got quite a lot of NC shorts, and we've got some AN shorts, which makes sense looking at the QDB scores, because that's got a poor score. And we've got some Aussie longs, but they're old ones now, so we might just break even. We'll have to wait and see. We could possibly go green. And just so you know, the SL and TP is hidden, and our take profit is based on an EA that we use called close at profit, and that will close us out a £50 profit. And note that we had £35 loss, so if we do get to the £50 profit, then we've made a little bit of profit this week. Okay, so ideally, in a nutshell, in hindsight, is that we took the yen out of the robot, but no one really knew if they were going to intervene or not, and it looks like they were preparing the market for an intervention. So if they do it properly, it could be quite scary and very heavy, so be very careful with the yen. We'll have to keep an eye on the dollar, and when the NFP comes about, I'll show you guys the US Treasuries, and then we can get a clearer idea about what's going to happen with the dollar, because the FX can give us some false readings, but the US yields are less likely going to lie. They'll be telling us like what should be happening with the dollar, as opposed to price action on the Dixie. And just remember, the Dixie is very, very, very strong on H4. We're on a huge uptrend, so we have to be careful about selling it. And I'll be back later for the NFP. Trade safely in the meantime, and I'll speak to you guys, what's that, about 6-7 hours time, and then we'll have to see how we go. I'll speak to you guys soon.